and good morning, guys. Welcome back to another video. Zach, say hi.
Hi.
So we got a big loose truck in here behind us. Obviously the beautiful Mega Cab dually. And Zach's been doing a little bit of work on there. We got the Baja Designs light bar behind the grill there. This one had the shock mount brake, right?
Yeah.
I feel like I heard that was a typical thing with these things. I don't know. So it kind of worked out ideal for today's video because I walked in right now, and as you guys know, Zach purchased the titanium welder from Harbor Freight, and we've been using this to weld up the headache rack slash over cab little basket setup we have on the mini truck. Then I walk in and I see there's a Hobart welder sitting right here, and I'm like, huh, apparently we're just like going every different type of brand of welder today, and it just so happens that I have finally pulled the trigger on purchasing myself a welder that I've been wanting for a very long time. But as you guys know, like, that's a substantial purchase, and I always seem to like talk myself out of spending that much money on stuff. So I haven't pulled the trigger until now, and my welder just showed up. We need to go pick it up.
So I didn't trust welding onto the axle with the old Harbor Freight. I mean, great little welder for little projects, but 1/4 inch kind of pushing it.
If you guys have seen, if you guys are like real OGs to the channel, you've seen that I'm not like a professional welder, but I can TIG weld. Like, that's what I learned. That's how I learned to weld. That's like the first 2 pieces of metal I ever stuck together successfully were with a TIG, not a MIG. And for those of you that don't know the difference, a MIG welder, a handle like this where you pull the trigger, the wires fed through the machine, and your filler material spit out through the torch right there. TIG, obviously, you have your TIG torch, and then you have a filler rod. So you have to use 2 hands, one to hold the rod, one to hold your torch. And again, that's how I learned how to weld. I am not a clean, successful MIG welder yet because I haven't played with it that often. And while all these welders that you see, Dedic buying his welder, Zach buying his welder, a lot of these welders will come with like a TIG functionality, which basically they'll have a TIG torch, but they're not TIG machines, and they're not AC/DC TIG machines. So basically, like, will it do TIG? Probably. Is it a TIG machine? No. So in my eyes, I only like to purchase things once, and instead of buying 2 different types of welders, I've been looking for the ideal MIG TIG machine. And well, I think what I purchased is the ideal MIG TIG machine that does both very well, which will give me a good opportunity to learn MIG, as well as have the TIG backup that I already know how to do. I think, hopefully, we'll see. And granted, if you're a good welder, like Zach is, it don't really matter what welder you're using. You can dial it in and figure out how to use it. If you're a not so good welder like me, you need the good stuff. And I learned on the good stuff, hanging out with Dave and using all of Dave's Miller welders. I learned on like really high-end TIG machines. So we're gonna go over to our friends over at West Air. We're gonna pick up my new welder, and we're just going on a shopping spree in their new superstore, and I need to get outfitted with everything, so it should be very interesting. So we're gonna go drop off big loose truck right now, then Zach's gonna be rolling with me over to West Air because I got no clue exactly what I need. I know we need some gases, we need some different types of gases, 2 types of gases. I need a new welding hood because I don't know where the heck mine is. We're gonna need some tungsten, we're gonna need some TIG rods, we're gonna need all kinds of stuff. Zach's my resident expert. Whoa, my goodness, bro, it's not that kind of video, Zach. Jeez.
It is now.
Zach, we have a door. Also, what were you doing inside of the toilet scrubbers there?
Apparently my shirt decided to be a toilet scrubber.
Okay. All right, guys, we are here, West Air. I'm excited to pick this thing up. I'm not excited to spend all this money, but I'm excited to pick this thing up.
It comes and goes.
It comes and goes. All right, where's it at, Zach? Where's it at? Find it, Zach. It's in here somewhere. It's in here somewhere. You're gonna sniff it out?
It's over there.
Oh, it's over there?
In the back.
Well, we know it's not on display because everything, welders like everything. Oh, they got a Thunderbolt 160. This is not what we're getting though.
That's only a stick.
You would what?
Love to see you stick weld.
Yeah, I've never stick welded in my life.
We have stick at the shop, and that one does it.
I got stick at the house. My house came with a stick welder.
Every house has a stick welder.
Well, let's go look at welding hoods and stuff while we wait to figure out where my welder is. I need some stainless. Zach, I thought I lost you, buddy. What'd you find?
Well, seeing as I was burning the crap out of my head today.
You gonna get yourself a little hat?
And they look cool when you wear them forward. It'll flip that.
What are we gonna write right there? Whoa, dude, we can embroider work for it on that. All right, done deal. We're getting work for it embroidered on that. Do you need a backpack or a little thing for your welding setup?
I don't need a backpack.
Zach, if you were tungsten, where would you be? I'm gonna start dropping all kinds of welding terms that I know. 330 seconds.
How thick are you on?
330 seconds. I use it for everything. I'm literally setting up the exact welder setup I use with Dave because it worked for everything.
330 seconds on everything, you're gonna need a sharpener too.
Well, yeah, the tungsten sharpener. Dave has one of those. I gotta have everything Dave has.
And then more.
And then more. Yeah, I want to impress Dave. Honestly, that's what I'm doing today is I'm trying to impress Dave.
I think that you show Dave of what we got and be like, good job, Rhino.
Yeah, right? Even though I tried to call Dave a second ago to see which like filler rod he uses because I really like it. And then he sent me to voicemail. You might have to like ask for it. I feel like it's easy to steal. Maybe they don't have the tungsten. We got stick rod, TIG rod, TIG consumables. If I was tungsten, right here, this one comes with tungsten in it. Zach, I think I found it, buddy. I found the tungsten. 3/30 seconds by 7 inch. There you can see, that's all I need. I don't need gloves.
Insert gloved fingers here, not just the finger.
I've been using a TIG finger forever with no gloves.
So you don't burn, you're burnt. It's, you know, when you feel the heat, the glove's hot.
Yeah, but see, then it's too
And
late.
then it hot.
Then it's too, yeah, then you gotta get a melting glove off your hand. 3/30 seconds, that's a good one.
There's different grades.
Well, don't I need to call it too?
2%, lanthanated, thoriated.
Hold on, am I not gonna get credit for dropping
sure.
call it?
I'm pretty sure.
I dropped call it. Zach, give me credit for dropping call it.
You got credit. I'm pretty
All
sure
right.
the purple is the universal.
Oh. All right, let's just go to the
Which
chart.
tungsten do you need?
ACDC, non-alloyed.
High alloyed. Great for aluminum, titanium, nickel, copper, and magnesium.
We need steel. We need something great for steel. What about lanthanated? I don't know what lanthanated means, but should we go with?
The 2% is what I was using.
It's amazing the science that welding is. So after much debate and some Googling, we're thinking we're going 2% thoriated. Is that 3/32? No, that's 16th. We need 3/32. These things are rad, dude. I feel like you should be driving an F1 car.
Ford blue.
Oh, that's for you then. I ain't wearing Ford blue.
You have more Fords than I do.
Fair. All right, guys, we got the new toy right here. These things always look so small until you put them on a cart and fill them with a bunch of stuff and bottles and all kinds of crap. Go gentle with it, gentle with it. It's a lot of money right there. My handle's ripping. I'm gonna use the knee, use the knee.
You brought your gat so we don't get jacked on the way back?
Nah. I got some scraps of wood. If anybody tries to rob us, I'm gonna throw these and they're gonna chase the wood.
Water bottles. Get them with all the water. Can we build a water bottle cannon?
So I bought a West Air hood here just to kind of get us going. This is like their entry-level auto darkening hood. That way, you know, we got something in the shop to get me going today. Because again, I don't know where my other hood went. And then we'll just keep this one as an extra. That way anybody wants to learn to weld or play in the shop or whatever.
You want to watch, you want to, you're an innocent bystander, don't want your cornea welded to your retina.
So we're gonna get the new Miller here unloaded and I'll tell you guys kind of all about it. And when I say tell you guys all about it, I mean, Zach will tell you something about it. I'll give you the gist of what I kind of maybe sort of don't really know, and then you'll probably Google it and find out all the cool stuff about this welder. All right, y'all, let's get this baby cracked open. Now, obviously there's gonna be extra accessories that we're gonna need. I don't currently have a welding cart. I totally just missed that line. Did you see that? This is just like cut. Take two. So I've been looking at some cool welding carts online. I gotta kind of decide which one I want. Obviously everything in welding is $1 million. So we're gonna go with the one step at a time thing here.
We could go to, you know, Harbor Freight buy a $40 one. Right. Or you could call Dave and have him do his magic and have it laser cut and you could build your own.
Hey Zach, I'm glad you're here. There's a lot of parts. Start with this.
Notice
dude, look how thick that manual is.
That's what I'm saying. Then notice that's on top. Like I said, you're gonna probably want to do a dual bottle cart.
Yeah, well they gave us 2 regulators.
Your ground clamp, and what is that? Ooh.
It's got a stick.
Ooh, and it's just technically an electrode holder.
It's got a stick electro holder. All right.
It does everything.
It really does.
It
really does.
And they're not lying. It does everything.
So obviously, yeah, you guys probably just saw it by pulling out the manual there. So this is the Miller Multimatic 220 AC/DC welder. Now, obviously, like I said, I do TIG welding, and I'm gonna say that, and then I'm not gonna be able to TIG with this watch. But I want to learn to MIG, and MIG has its purpose, TIG has its purpose. There's not a lot of welders out there that do both proficiently. So anyways, after doing a ton of research, this is like one of the very few do-all, last time you're gonna buy a welder style of welders here.
It's like the only one that actually does everything.
Yeah.
Because I remember I was doing the same thing. I'm like, hey, this is the one that I want. You're like, dude, that's the same one.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, good, we're on the same page.
So these things, they're expensive, but they're not super expensive. I know like Dave's TIG setup, he's got the Miller Dynasty 200. Straight TIG. So that, the welder plus the water cooler plus his whole setup, he's in at like 7 to 9 grand.
Yeah, and that's just a 200. They go all the way up to like 9, I think. They're water cooled 100%.
Well, we can add a water cooler to this. There's a company that makes adapters. Now, granted, the water cooler is $1,000. then you got to buy the kit and the adapter, and then you got to buy the new hose and the torch and all that, which again, we're going to accessorize this thing as we learn and what I need.
If either one of us are welding that much to need a water-cooled TIG, it's time to step up to something different.
Let's strategically tear into this stuff here. Because again, oh look, we even got a little metal gauge there. We've got a lot of our accessories here. We'll get the owner's manual for the MIG gun. I mean, that's not even in this bag. But listen, my lines aren't very straight today, all right? Ooh, Zach, we got a foot pedal. Yeah. Again, I learned to weld on Dave's very Gucci Miller Dynasty 200. Only ever used the remote control foot pedal, which like, there's been plenty of times where one of us would be up on a ladder, the other guy's holding the foot pedal, so you can like, we did a lot of weird structural welding with a TIG. Like a lot of times we got some weird looks on job sites for what we did, but this will work for now because the foot pedals are like $1,000, the wireless ones, so we'll use the corded for now. So the cool thing about this setup is obviously for doing TIG welding, you're using argon. For doing MIG, you're using
what is it? CO2.
I don't know.
MIG
mix.
I mean,
MIG mix.
You can use only CO2, but I think it's a dirtier appearance or something.
We're all about looks for our buttery dimes. So the cool thing about this machine, and again, this machine was built to do both of these things like on a regular basis, not just you got a MIG torch or a MIG welder that you're gonna hook up a TIG torch to once every blue moon. So you can run, and we will be eventually once I get my cart set up, 2 bottles that are hooked up to the machine full time. And basically how this machine works is you pull the trigger on the MIG gun and it'll automatically switch to the mixed MIG or MIG mix, the MIG mix, and like use that gas. Then the second you walk over to your TIG torch, you hit the pedal, there's an automatic valve that switches over and automatically starts pumping argon through. So you don't ever have to switch any of the gases or anything like that once this machine is set up. Pull this booger up out of here. Doesn't have a flexible head. We'll be getting a flexible head TIG torch at some point. Should be everything we need to get started and play around with this thing for a little bit until we start to dial things in. Now I'm ready to pull this girl out. She big. Now the cool thing about these, and I know even like the Harbor Freight welder does it now, is you just like pre-programming the thickness of your steel, the thickness of your wire, whatever you're doing, the type of metal you're doing, and like they'll preset a lot of stuff. And then you can go in and fine tune it from there because obviously presets aren't always gonna be what you need. So for a dummy like me, you use their preset and then you tweak it from there.
So for, you know, the dum-dums like me, like this is what we used to do, these are the presets. So you go, oh, I got steel with, you know, mix, solid wire, and I'm welding 1/8 inch with 030, and it's 17.7 and 298.
Obviously, comes with a 220, but the cool thing is now that you literally just unscrew that end on it. If you want to run 120, you can just swap it out. So we have 220 in the shop. It's right back there next to that compressor. So we're going to be using this. All right, so we got a little spool of wire we could try this thing out with. What's up, buddy? You ready to hook this thing up?
You got yourself a present?
Well, you gonna lay? You gonna lay some fat dimes?
Always.
Always? So since I hate working on the ground, we've got our little temporary, we're going to call this the current stand for the welder. Oh, Zach, stop! Stop, Zach! I gotta protect my investment. So we're getting our gas lines hooked up here again. This will run 2 separate gases at the same time. Trim liner flush with power pin cap. What's the liner? What's a power pin cap?
You remember, you know, the first thing that you pulled out of the box?
What was that?
I was like, read this first, stop.
I'm not good with the reading stuff. Well, we all know I can't stand and read at the same time. I need a chair.
Left to right, not right to left.
Left to right, all right. Read left to right, got it. Arc welding hazard. Zach, this is hazardous. Oh, I have found the MIG welding connection page. It goes like that. Looks good, buddy. Looks good. That's exactly how I would have done it.
Is it?
Yeah, well check it out, check it out. So you probably didn't know this, but this goes right there. Yep, see? I read the instructions. All right, we'll get the TIG torch hooked up here. All right, we're getting just a little sample wire spool that it came with here. Get it in the hole, Zach. Thread that needle. All right, feeding her through. I feel it in the handle.
You're not looking down the barrel?
I feel it. I don't see it.
Yeah, usually you just turn it on and you hit the trigger, but...
Oh, just get a little tight. Hey! Chris, that
is happy to see you.
That is how babies are made, okay? Let me stick some stuff together.
Oh, you want a stuff sticker together?
Yeah, they don't give you very long cords on these things.
Hook it just to... No.
Please remove protective film. Ah! Here we go. Oh wait, that's the auto set button, hold on. Maybe we need the, is there a button on the back? I don't understand the button on the back.
So you don't hit it when you're moving it or...
I don't know. Put it on the front. What do we got here? So again, I don't think there's anything other than like pulling the trigger to know that, like, tell it we're MIGing, right? Okay, we're gonna go with how about C25?
Sure.
All right. I mean,
we could read the manual, but nah.
so we're gonna start with the MIG gun here and see how this works.
I'm excited. Hold on, I gotta go set up my new hood. I feel like on something I gotta look through.
We probably shouldn't have the plastic
Can't
on.
see without it, so
Go ahead, buddy.
unfortunately.
Just do it, Zach. I don't want to look.
But you got it.
No, you gotta turn sensitivity up. I'm down a hand here.
We'll go to shade 12.
Oh, there it is. It's kind of cloudy today. The sun's behind the cloud right there.
If I wiggle it, it'll stay on.
All right, y'all, we are ready to give this thing a go. Oh, jeez, almost fell over my little stool here.
Oh, look at it. We got a lot of little scrap pieces here to try. Yeah, 1/8 inch. Bro, why are you reading the chart? We got it right here. Look, 1/8 inch. What size is our wire?
3.5.
Okay.
So
Wait, hold on.
17.7 and 202.
Hold on. 0.35 wire.
Give me one of those gloves I said not to buy. Well, listen, when I'm TIGging, don't really need it. I got my TIG finger.
Dude, you're gonna not want to sit down either.
Yeah, I know. I'm gonna stand up when we do this. I don't want it splatter in my lap. Make sure it works. Make sure my hood works. Hood works. Hood works. Zach just laid some fat dimes, dude. Hold on. Most important thing, it's stuck together. Wire feed's a little quick. Whip and
pause. Whip and pause.
Okay.
Start and then you're like almost like a J.
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 Okay. It goes so fast. I like the whip and J idea though. Here, let's try the J, whip, J. We gotta work on our whip and J. Again, I don't MIG. Like, I've never really MIGged anything in my life. Oh, now you don't need the gloves. Now you don't need it. All right.
You ready?
I mean, that's, you know, almost the same thing. Almost the same thing there. All right, I gotta practice my whip and my nays here. Bro, we're getting there. Look at that. Hold on, can you see that one? Can you see it? It's like, just like Zach's. Just like Zach.
There's some comparisons there. Hold on, focus. That was my first one, then Zach's, then mine, and then he told me to kind of lay up on the side of it right there. Got a little puddly there, but I don't hate that.
Dave was my TIG teacher. Zach is my MIG teacher.
Try to fill the corner like I would. Do like an inch.
Okay. Oh, Zach, I got stuck, buddy. All right, we got a little sloppy there, guys.
So start at the bottom. You're gonna drag it and kind of like, so I go up. I usually weld into it, or you can go in and let it sit.
I gotta say, y'all, I'm kind of proud of this one right here. This is probably, well, this is my best MIG weld I've ever laid down. Look at that. Oh, hold on, focus. Don't mind the little hole right there, but look at that. Like, we're getting there. If I just get like my distance on my little rhythm down, like, that's gonna be very consistent.
So the next person, we need that little bench top bandsaw, so you can
Ooh.
cut your cookies, have you weld them, we'll cut them in half and see if you're full penetrating or not.
You got the acid to put on there for a penetration test?
Nah, we just cut them apart.
Okay. Zachariah, if you aren't proud of me for that one, buddy, I don't know who's gonna be proud of me for that one. Bruh, how's that look?
Look at that. I love thick steel because you can actually make them pretty and they don't go.
Right?
Like if you try to do that with this, it would go. Like you gotta be real quick.
Look at that. That wood and burning wood does not help my allergies right now. The reason I wanted a really good welder is because good welders can use crappy welders and make them look good.
I can bring over the other one and we can do a comparison on the Rhino test.
Yeah, well, ooh, it's not a bad idea. Or you get a guy like me who, like, you give me the best of the best and I can hobble together something close enough to call on a weld. So we didn't buy any TIG filler rod. So all we have here is what, like, Dedic bought.
No, I got it.
Oh, you got some? Oh, okay. So this is Zach's TIG filler rod here. So
Get our TIG pedal here. Get it out of the box.
So I'm eventually gonna buy a tungsten sharpener. We currently don't have one. and West Air didn't have one. They're usually like smaller fabrication shop, like website stuff that builds those. So we'll get one of those ordered up.
Oh, we got the big boy stuff here.
Let's move our MIG out of the way here. So again, we don't really know how much argon we have.
It's got enough to show on the regulator, not on the bottle pressure. Under
Watch, I'm gonna talk up like my TIG abilities.
250 pounds.
And then my MIG stuff's gonna look 100 times better. Find out how this normally works.
Foreshadowing.
So Dave
3/16
always runs a pulse on his for some weird reason.
Because it's easier to stack it.
Yeah, and I got
you
used
can get with the rhythm, so just pulse in your head, go boop, 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 boop. That's
Well, I know there's a little secret menu on these things where you can set the pulse and stuff. We might be diving into that. I mean, it ain't bad. It ain't bad. It's definitely doesn't feel like.
horrible.
All right. We need to get used to this TIG a little bit, but you know what? They're there. They could be worse.
Hey, the fact that you knew how to use it.
Do I get credit?
Yeah.
I get credit? Don't tell anybody, but I have welded my fair share of like ladders and stuff for the outsides of buildings.
Didn't you weld your ramp?
And yeah, as a matter of fact, I actually welded the flex ramp that I drive my truck on or have driven my truck on plenty of times. So,
Yeah, I saw it. I'm like, oh, Dave welded. You're like, no, I did. I didn't believe you. Dave's like, nah, he did.
so I think my abilities to stick metal together with a TIG are good. I want to play with the pulse settings on this thing a little bit and kind of like dial it into where I'm like the zone I've welded in with TIG before. But well, I don't know. Now that I see my MIG abilities, who needs TIG?
I'm just saying, it took you. You could have done the whole side for what that little.
Well, again, I've never had a quality MIG.
But
Well, there, buddy, have at it.
You're right about there, it's supposed to be a little hard when the wood starts burning like crazy.
yeah.
All right, buddy. Let's do a little comparison shot. Mine on top, Zach's on bottom.
Yeah, and that's the main difference is the heat penetration in the TIG versus MIG.
Yeah.
Like, it instantly starts to burn the wood.
And then the cool thing is, again, like you want to run in real quick, you grab your MIG handle, you tack, and then you jump over to your TIG, and you can like run your nice pretty beads.
I'm stoked about this, guys. I've wanted a quality MIG/TIG welder forever. Now, if you guys couldn't tell from yesterday's video, my allergies absolutely obliterated me. And I think I welded for all of like 3 minutes before I finally had to tap out. Every single time I'd put my head down, it would just be like Niagara Falls out the front of my face. So I couldn't focus, I couldn't concentrate. It was not a fun day. So I ended up having to call it quits. But we are back today and I am ready to kind of jump in, grab the new welder, and do some more work here on the old mini truck, because it's kind of one of the reasons I bought the welder was to be able to do a bunch of stuff, but obviously the mini truck being the first project that we've got in here. Now, here's my issue though. Today's the day after the 4th of July, so it's a holiday. Nobody's open, so I can't go buy a welding extension cord, and the ones that I ordered online don't get here till tomorrow. And well, as you can see, we got a customer's truck here in the way. And Zach's got like the intake tube taken off and stuff, so obviously we're not gonna move this to pull it out and put it back in, but we don't have an extension cord to get the welder from there to away from the truck over to here to work on. Crazy thing is though, this just so happens to be a welding rig. We ought to just fire up the old Lincoln here and weld with that. But so we're gonna try and move some of this stuff over here, get the mini truck up in over here, and hopefully we could salvage this video and actually get some work done on the mini truck. So I made about as much room as we can make over here. Now we gotta squeeze the mini truck through this little tight squeeze here and try and get it as close to the wall there as we can. Good news is, we're not using flux core, we're actually using gas, so it's not like it throws a bunch of splatter or everything anywhere, so we should be good. We'll make sure we protect the truck over there, and I'm more worried about squeezing this through right now.
So we'll jack up the back end here and we'll scoot it over just a little bit.
Come on, bugger. Now we've gone ahead and got it moved about as close as we can
Without tearing this whole table apart, which we might end up having to do here. Let's see, where's the MIG gun? Right there. Let's see just how far she'll reach. Something tells me, yeah, that's not far enough.
Looks like we're tearing down this table and we're scooching even closer to our 220 outlet. Obviously we're gonna add more 220 outlets, plus we'll have the extension cords here. After a little bit of maneuvering here, I bought myself another, I would say 4 to 5 feet here, so we'll scooch the truck up a little bit. Might be stuck on a zip tie.
Oh, no.
Some fuel hose on the ground.
Get her pushed up the rest of the way.
Now the next step for this thing is I want to dress it up a little bit, so I'm going to put another bar, I think, going across the top here. Then we'll do some verticals. Probably put like a little hook right here or something that we can hang hoses and cords on. You guys aren't going to believe this. I know I've said it on the channel a million times. I know I've said it. And if you've watched for more than like a month, you probably know I'm not making this up when I say just my luck. Just my luck. We just finished moving everything over there to get the mini truck over there so we can start working on it. And guess what shows up today that was supposed to get here tomorrow?
Just showed up right there at the front door.
That would be my welding extension cord. Oh, yeah. Oh, just my luck. First we'll get our rough measurement here. We can cut it long, clamp it in place, and mark our angles. We'll go 42 inches. Raise her up a little bit here so we can get the clamps on. All right, now we mark it. Now we go cut on the bandsaw. All right, yeah, well, we got our next cross member cut.
It is being held in right now, obviously, by the magnets. I can't get the clamps on while the bed's down, so I lowered it back down, making sure we are all good. Everything is nice and squared up with itself, mainly the window, because we know already that the bed and stuff's all kind of tweaked and funky. So we're trying to make everything visually line up. So the window reveal looks good, window reveal looks good.
We're gonna raise it up. Hopefully it doesn't move. And then we're gonna try and clamp it. And then we're gonna do our first real like MIG weld. I haven't really MIG welded anything real.
Let's get the new Miller welder fired up here. Turn her on. Look at that, perfect spot until we cap that. So I believe we're C25 there, mild steel. We're gonna go with 1/8 inch material, 0.035 wire. I believe that's what we're using here. Now I know absolutely nothing about wire.
I barely know anything about fill rod. I don't know a whole lot about welding, so
we're gonna go with that.
Tack one. We're gonna need a little longer cord here. I also don't know if the gas is on. Okay, we got the gas turned on. Good news is though, I got my extension cord now, so we're gonna go extension cord this up.
So the new extension cord is here, and hopefully this is decent quality. It's pretty dang thick. And I got the ones with the lighted ends because obviously it's nice to not have to go back and check to see if you're plugged in. You can just look at the ends and see if it's lit up. Super cool iHyPERLITE bag. Oh,
this is the manliest. You know what? I'm gonna hang this on the side of the welding cart when I get it. Much better. Most important thing though, it's stuck together. All right, let's try this like welding downhill thing here. Not my finest work, but not horrible. I should also mention the angles came out just a little bit off, so I'm trying to fill a gap too, which never done that with MIG.
I don't think that turned out half bad right there. That gap was like towards the bottom there. Not quite an 1/8, but like a fat 1/16.
Now the fun part is, and what I'm not looking forward to, is welding up underneath here. I mean, you can see some of Zach's were good. Some of Zach's, you kind of fought a little bit, especially on this one, because you're trying to get like up underneath this raised portion.
Going up.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Now I'm kind of going back and forth in my head here. Do I tilt this booger all the way up, and then it's more of a downhill weld, but I'm like way up in the air? Or do I just try? Like, you know, you got to practice the underhand at some point here. I gotta say, I don't think we did too bad on the upside downsies there. That one actually doesn't look horrible.
Obviously, got the little hole there on the end, and I didn't quite wrap that corner as nicely as I should have, but I think we did pretty good. Now, the next step is we're gonna do our verticals that are gonna go on either side of the window. I mean, it's kind of a big old giant piece window here, but I wanna throw something in there just to give it a more defined truck headache rack look here. Move our moving blanket out of the way so we can see what we're working with. I'm kind of thinking we'll hit somewhere on like maybe that support for the headrest in there, just so they kind of line up nicely with each other. And I did find some like 1-inch scrap over here that maybe I'll use for that. That way we don't burn up the last little bit of 2-inch that we have, or 1 3/4 inches, or I don't even remember at this point what we're using. 1.5 inches. All right, y'all, so I've cut both of the verticals that are gonna go in there. I think this is the spacing I'm gonna have them at. I'm gonna kind of line them up with just that headrest post. This is just set in there right now. I haven't actually pulled measurements to make sure everything's all cohesive, but plenty of room to view out the back there. I'm not worried about putting like mesh or anything like that to keep from breaking that back window. Maybe I should be, but I hate mesh on headache racks. It's just always been a pet peeve of mine. I don't like the look of it. Also, we're slumming it today using the old DeWalt corded grinder. I brought the wrong truck today. I don't have my Milwaukee cordless grinder in it. I do feel grinders are one of the few tools you should have corded and cordless. Everything went pretty good. We got our verticals welded in, and I think the welds are looking pretty decent. I will say though, I do show you guys the good, the bad, the ugly. Laying on the roof, reaching over, I ended up blowing a hole on that side of that horizontal. So this is a good chance to learn how to fill with a MIG. With a TIG, you can just like tack in a little piece of your fill rod and use that, but I've never tried to fill a hole with a MIG, but I think we did pretty good. If I really wanted to, I can go back in and fill those little divots there, but I'm not too worried. You're never gonna see it. Kind of my goal is to not grind any of these welds, because you're just creating a lot of grinding for yourself. It doesn't really need to be perfectly smooth or anything like that. But I think we're doing pretty good considering I've MIG'd at this point for all of like 12.5 minutes. The last step for today is we're gonna put our little horns on the top here, and this is basically if you ever run lumber up there, it'll keep things from wanting to slide off, and we can throw like extension cords over it, and they'll hang off the 2 horns on either side here. I might end up putting another little hook somewhere here, it's a little warm, on each side to also hang extension cord. Now I'm trying to decide height here. I don't want to go up too high, but probably something about there will be how high we come over. And we might put a little bevel on it, like a little 45 to make them pointy and look kind of cool and devil hornish, I guess. Now we kind of planned on these going about in line with the basket when we put it up there, so just kind of get an idea there of how they're gonna look. I don't know if I have any 1.5 inch flat stock around here though to put the cap on this, so we should probably look for that first before we start cutting stuff all funky. So we've got our 2 opposing horns here. I don't know if it's gonna work, but I'm gonna try and cut a little piece out of this and use just like one side of this as my flat stock to cap these. This is where having a dual MIG TIG setup would come in handy, because this is an ideal setup to TIG weld that edge. MIG, I don't really know. I've TIGged stuff like this. I've never MIGged something like this without blowing out the walls like crazy. Unfortunately though, again, you saw yesterday, we don't have any argon, and they're closed today, so we can't go get any argon. So I'm gonna risk it with the MIG. I'm gonna turn everything way down and see if we can cap those. All right, so here's what I've come up with. Just again, cutting some of that square stock, just cutting one edge off of it. Hopefully, if we turn the machine down enough, we don't just completely blow through and obliterate that edge. And we should be able to weld that up, grind it smooth. In theory, this works great. I wish I had a long enough extension cord to get the welder over to where the vise is, but we're probably just gonna end up clamping this to the backside of the mini truck here or something. That's about as good as she's gonna get clamped. I think that's good enough for me to tack those corners right there. Let's see what we can turn the machine down to here. Let's go material thickness. I think it is 14 gauge, but we're gonna call it 16. We're gonna slow the wire feed speed down there. I don't know if that's the right move, but you don't know till you try. That's grindable. I gotta say, for how thin that was, I think we did pretty good getting that edge sealed up there. I'm gonna come in now, grind it, smooth everything out, make them look like one solid piece of metal. And I always tell you guys, like, I'm not afraid to buy things once and spend a little bit of more money than you would think you would want to spend, but you get something that makes life easier. This machine is making life easier. Instead of trying to go to charts and trying to guess, I just dialed down the thickness of the material, and those settings seem to work absolutely perfect on what we just did right there. I am so far in love with this Miller welder. All right, y'all, I'm beyond stoked with how that turned out right there. That is just one weld pass all the way around the edge. Typically, if you're like TIGging something and you want to cap it like this, you'll like TIG, grind. If you find little holes, like you'll see if it'll focus, there's tiny little holes right there. You can come in, fill those real quick. I could do that with MIG too, but I'm not that concerned about it. If that's one pass, I'm gonna take that. We're gonna call that a victory, mainly because the welder's way over there and the vise is way over here to grind it. If the welder was right here, I would probably fill those little holes too, but I'm not concerned about it at all. Is it hot? Is it hot? It's hot. I might be pretty sold on MIG, guys. I know I was talking up a big TIG game when I started this video, and I regret that at this point, but I think those are like pretty freaking impressive results here for it being a MIG machine with a dummy on the end of the gun there, because I'm still making this up as I go. Let's get a little look there on how she's gonna be. I think I like that, just like that. Let's go grind the other one. We'll weld these on, we'll be good to go. All right, so the horns are done, all ground nice and smooth. I ground down the top weld right here. That way these will sit flat up top on the top of the headache rack. This one's ready to get tacked in. We've got our inspector here, Chris. You're gonna x-ray all these, right? Make sure I got full penetration. Adjust my machine settings back up to, we'll go 1/8 inch there. Well, that is gonna be all she wrote there for the welding we're gonna do today. And I gotta say, guys, I don't know if that's focused or not, but for somebody that has never really picked up MIG, somebody who doesn't really do welding, I'm gonna give a lot of credit to the machine, but I think we didn't do half bad. These front faces were a little tough. I did end up blowing a little hole on both sides there, so I do have a little bit of a fill, but other than that, pretty proud of myself today. We'll get the welder shut off here. Dun, 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 dun. Look at that bad boy. This thing's looking tougher and tougher by the minute. You guys don't know how stoked I am to finally have my dream welder. But with that, we're gonna wrap up as always. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you're not subscribed already, please click the subscribe button now so you do not miss out on any future content. I almost did a thumbs up there. Don't forget to give this video a Don't forget to give this video a like, aka a thumbs up. Don't forget to check out workforapparel.com, because if there's anything you want in this life, you gotta be willing to work for it. You guys are the best. I'm out.
Damn. Yeah. Yeah.